Alright, we are in session 36 of the Vassels, Stories for Those Forgotten. This session could be best described as we spent 3 hours to do nothing. Alright, jokes aside, this session was surprisingly very heavy on the roleplay side of things. We had a clear plan at the end of our last session, which was we are going to take on the Overminds in the Quablaxti Centaurum base underneath the Foundry, in the Goldshore district of the Calabast. We knew what we were going to do. And I think a few of us, myself included, went into this session expecting combat, expecting to make our way through a dungeon or to be sent straight into a boss fight. But that's not what happened. We spent the majority of our time, excuse me, had a sneeze there. We spent the majority of our time doing roleplay, doing roleplay on the previous night. And, well, not necessarily preparing for the attack, but just clearing things up, tying up some loose ends, and then going to bed, which took a lot longer than was expected. So, yeah, it kind of started when Valkyria brought someone to our base named Percy. Apparently this was a cousin of Ezra that Ezra had not informed the rest of the party about, mostly because he thought he was dead, so he didn't really have a reason to tell us. But he wasn't, and now he's here, and is a very concerning individual. I have some pretty significant concerns about this man. First and foremost, he has been brought to our secret base of operations, and that is concerning, because I know I've joked with the other players at the table that I've kind of just given up on the fact that we're supposed to be a Black Ops organization, a Black Ops unit, but we really haven't been doing that. So one of my jokes is I've just given up on it, but this is not true. I am still kind of concerned about this guy. Mostly because he doesn't seem to be all there, if you catch my meaning. He's a bit insane. Elmir, when he first met him, I wouldn't say Elmir, I'd say when I first met him, just thought he was a bit sick, a bit ill, but I learnt later on in the night that that wasn't quite the truth. There was something more to it. After he had been introduced to us and we agreed to keep him here safely for a while, something I personally don't agree with. I think we should send him back to the Trihe Guild and let them deal with him. At least that's one of my thoughts on the matter. We took him up to a room to rest. Myself, Ezra, and a person working with us that's sort of taking on the position of like a live-in maid named Maggie helped him up to his room. There we put him to bed, and I pulled out my necklace of prayer beads and asked Ezra if he would like me to try and help him, as my prayer beads mechanically allow me to cast the spell Greater Restoration, which has been very useful to us in the past, or at least in the very recent past. Casting the spell on him and using my innate ability to sense desecrated things, I was able to tell that everything that he touches becomes desecrated until he is no longer touching it. I quickly informed Ezra that this was so far above my knowledge base that I don't even know where to begin helping this man, and I do want to help him, but I just can't do that. But there may be people up in Temple Mons on the Dawnspire that are capable of helping him, and I really, really think we should take him up to the Dawnspire to get the help he needs. Ezra was not in agreement with me. And, well, I respected his wishes. This is his cousin. This is someone that Ezra is responsible for. And no matter how much I want to help him, I feel that right now the final say for anything that happens to him should be held by Ezra. That may change in the future, but right now, that's how it is, and I have agreed to inform an individual in the order that I trust and bring them to our base to help him. Beyond that, to keep quiet about what I know. After that, I headed back to my room, where I found Kurami sitting outside, which was strange to me. I've tried to interact with Kurami in the past. I've tried to help guide her to a more moral path, but it hasn't exactly been successful. She kind of wants to tread her own path, and damn to anyone else who speaks out against that. But Kurami was concerned because of an incident that happened to her when they were bringing Percy here, or before they brought Percy here. I spoke up about it in my last video. It was the trading of souls between Kurami and Mira, and then back. Kurami was concerned that she might have had her soul stolen by Mira, and came to me for, I guess, comfort, confirmation that she still had her own soul and it was not gone, which I gave to the best of my abilities. I was able to confirm that yes, Kurami still has her soul within her body and that it is hers, uncorrupted and whole. We also had a little discussion about the nature of family, and how the family you're born with isn't your only family, and how sometimes you can choose new people to become your family, but it is something you have to choose. It's something you have to accept. It's not something that can be forced upon you. I tried, of course, to convince Kurami once more that not all dragons were evil, and that I could introduce her to some that would not want to harm her. She responded in her usual way, that she would need to be stronger before such an event happens. And I understand where she's coming from, even if I don't believe she will need that strength. I can introduce her to dragons that won't want to hurt her in any way. But that's not going to change the fact that these will be scary for Kurami. And having strength to defend herself from any potential threats will make her feel more comfortable. I didn't tell her this, of course. I just smiled and gave her a hug and did my best to make her feel safe. After which I offered her to rest in my room tonight. She accepted. I gave her the bed, I slept on the floor. And the following morning, we got up, ready to take on the challenges of the next day. Valkyria pulled Kurami aside in the morning, I'm not sure what for, but Kurami seemed happy enough when she came down for breakfast. And Maggie gave us a good breakfast. or made us a good breakfast, I should say. Some nice breakfast burgers. Bacon, lettuce, cheese, veggies, onions, all that good stuff. No egg for me, though. As my friends know, it's against my religion. We, in the Order of the Platinum Salvation, will not ingest eggs in their basic forms. We cannot do it. Perhaps one day I will explain why, but for now, well, we'll leave it as a mystery. After that, we headed out quickly to the foundry, a massive coliseum capable of holding tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of individuals at a time. Fortunately, I knew where we were going and quickly directed us to where we believed the Quiblaxti Centaurum base was. With a bit of investigative work from our new companion Tiberius Atreus, we were able to find the trigger that would allow us to enter into the base. Unfortunately for us, it seemed to be based off of the security system seemed to be based off of blood. And well, none of us really thought that it would be our blood that would get us in. Though I did have an idea and jumped on it quickly. Felix's brother was working with these individuals, so surely he would be able to enter and exit these bases as we need. So, asking for Felix's hand, I pricked his finger on the security device. Unfortunately, I was right. The door opened and allowed us entry into the base. At this point, I pulled out my sending stone that was connected to Highbearer Vormir's, the leader of the Scaled Guard, and informed him that it was time. I will admit... before I admit anything, I informed him that it was time, this being the key for him to send the Scaled Guard against the Magisterium in Cantor to find and deal with the Quiblaxti Centaurum base under that, and destroy the Overmind there. Now, I will admit, in my head, I had a much cooler idea for what I wanted to do here, but in the moment, I chickened out like a little shit. But I'm willing to do it here. What I wanted to say, and I had been practicing for like a week beforehand, trying out some different things, was something like this. I pull out, looking over to the DM, of course, I pull out the sending stone to Highbearer Vormir, and I say, "It's time. Let the Magisterium be... No. It's time. Let the sins of the Magisterium be weighed upon the platinum scales." Or if I was willing to do it in character, "It is time. Let the Magisterium be weighed upon the platinum scales." That's what I wanted to do. But, like I said, I chickened out. Sorry, I was just checking to see if I was recording instead of accidentally streaming. Anyway. After that, we headed into the base. We found ourselves eventually in a hallway very similar to the previous base we went into, where it was just a blank white hallway, 10 doors, 5 on one side, 5 on the other, and then more walkway further down. I was in no mood to check out any of the rooms if they didn't have the Overmind in them. I did not care for them. I had a single goal: find and kill the Overmind. Thanks to a bit of cajoling by the rest of the party, we were able to get through to the next room rather quickly. There we found 3 individuals 2 that were covered by some sort of scientific invisibility field, and 1 that had a natural invisibility. We were able to remove one of them, where we found 1 Overmind under one of the false invisibility fields. And then combat had started, and the session came to an end. So, next session's going to be a big fight. We're dealing with the Overmind and 2 other things that are probably going to be really scary. I don't think I've really gone into detail on what an Overmind is. If you are aware of Matt Colville, you may know it from his Flea Mortal book that came out a month or 2 ago. I think it was a month ago. Well, Matt Colville, as I previously mentioned, one of my great inspirational figures for being a DM and a great game designer. He loves D&D, so it's unsurprising that he has made his own monsters for it. The Overmind being a beholder type creature, where instead of having 8 eye stalks, it has 1 massive eye, a few smaller eyes around that, and spits out floating eyeballs that can move around. It is a very scary creature. It has many of the same abilities as a beholder, and some that are of Matt Colville's own design. If you like it, Flea Mortals can be purchased. You can find it. You can probably just Google it to find it. It's a great book. I've got it. I really enjoy it. If I can find it, I will put a link down in the doobly-doo, as the Colville says. I'll also put a link to his next project, which is Where Evil Lies. His Flea Mortals Kickstarter did so excellently well that he was able to do another book, which I'm also very excited for. It's basically a book that contains about 20 legendary. No, I'm not gonna. That it 20 legendary creatures, all of which have their lairs, ranging from really low-level creatures to really high-level creatures. I'm very excited for it. Special thanks to Jack, my DM. He puts up with a lot of shit from myself and and the other players at the table. Special thanks to all the other players at the table. They are just an absolute blast to bounce off in roleplay or just chat with or combat. It's just absolute fun. Really love it. Special thanks to Bardify for creating the music that I am currently using as the background. It is free source stuff, and I will put a link down below. If you think I'm entertaining, please come by and check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Megaslayer321A. Currently still playing through Baldur's Gate 3 and having a blast. If you like D&D, you'll probably like it. Anyway, bye.